Good morning, my Real News Media TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning, and I'm wishing for everyone a wonderful and a productive day. And in the news this morning, 6 boys are charged for sexual assault of 13-year-old girl. The 6 boys implicated in the sexual assault of a 13-year-old girl in Portmore, St. Catherine have been charged. The teens were charged on Wednesday evening after they were positively identified during an ID parade. They have been charged with rape, conspiracy to rape, abduction, unlawful detention to commit sexual intercourse, knowingly producing child pornography, distribution of child pornography, and assault occasioning bodily harm. Investigators reported that sometime in October, the 13-year-old girl was lured to a house in Portsmouth, Portmore, where she was assaulted by the group of boys. The matter came to public knowledge last week when a video of the incident went viral. The boys were remanded to a place of safety when they appeared in court on Thursday. The matter was adjourned until Monday, when their attorneys are expected to apply for bail. NRSC alarmed at 11 killed in road crashes this week. The National Road Safety Council says it's alarmed by the surge in road fatalities so far this week. NRSC Vice Chairman Dr. Lucian Jones says that the issue is especially concerning going into the Christmas holidays.
So far for this week, based on the police reports, 11 persons have died. We were doing very well at the start of November, and all of a sudden for this week, the number of fatalities has exploded. It included 3 down at one time in St. Mary early in the week, and so far 3 motorcyclists, 2 pedestrians, both of them female. It means that for this month, 20 persons have died, significantly below the 40 last year. But based on the start of the week, the month, we're hoping to have done much better. We're inching closer to December, the Christmas period, when traditionally we have a lot of people dying.
Couple gunned down in Seaview Gardens, St. Andrew. The St. Andrew South police are probing the murder of a couple along Pacific Boulevard in Seaview Gardens, St. Andrew on Thursday morning. The couple, who operated a hardware in the community, was shot by gunmen about 10:35 a.m. They have been identified as 49-year-old Fabian Edwards and Etta Midget, believed to be an American citizen. As at November 23, the St. Andrew South Police Division has recorded 107 homicides. Police named 5 men killed in Waltham Park Road gun attack. The police have released the names of the 5 people killed in Monday's attacks along Waltham Park Road in St. Andrew. They are 46-year-old Robert Henry, 48-year-old Ricardo Campbell, 53-year-old Ezra Edwards, and the 55-year-old Michael Edwards. The other victim has been identified as 24-year-old entertainer David Mardner. The men were killed when gunmen carried out attacks at the 75 lane and the neighboring 83 lane on Monday night. Police Commissioner Dr. Kevin Blake says a special team of investigators has been assigned to track down those responsible for the killings. DPP's office is being relocated because of mold. The Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions in downtown Kingston is being relocated to the Ministry of Justice because mold has infested the newly renovated and expanded building, causing some staff members to be sick. It cost the government just over $850 million to renovate and expand the building about 2 years ago. Minister of Justice Delroy Chuck told the news that he had spoken to the contractor about the problem and directed that steps be taken immediately to remedy the situation. A member of staff has described the building as a health risk, pointing out that for several months, some staff members have been having breathing problems because of the mold. The mold first took over the first floor of the building, and then a few weeks ago, mold has surfaced onto the second floor, a member of staff said. One of the problems is that the windows to the newly renovated building are all sealed and no air is getting into the building. Chuck explained that from his investigation, the mold could have been caused from the fact that the central air conditioning unit in the building is sweating. He disclosed that another factor was that there was not sufficient airflow throughout the building. He is expressing hope that the problem will be solved very soon. In the meantime, some members of staff have been working from home until the relocation to the Ministry of Justice building is completed. Chuck, at the signing of the contract in September 2019, said that the facilities at the Court of Appeal are first-class facilities just completed by the same contractor, YP Seaton, and we expect no less at the DPP. We expect the DPP offices to be first-class facilities. A prosecutor said that the office is comfortable to work in, but no one expected that mold would really drive them out of the building so soon. BITU says tourism workers should be allowed to unionize. Government Senator and the President of the Bustamante Industrial Trade Union, Cavan Gill, is insisting that the recent wave of industrial action in hotels would have been easily avoided if tourism workers were afforded collective bargaining rights. Senator Gill pointed out that the matter of contract work abuse was raised in Parliament several times, including in January and December of 2022, and if heeded, would have prevented the current crisis.
I'm renewing my call for urgent legislative action. Recent consultation with workers, including those involved in the recent protests, have highlighted the serious concern workers face due to the pervasive use of short-term contracts in this particular sector. And it is clear that these employment practices are depriving workers of the stability that they need to make long-term plans for themselves and their families. The nature of these contracts, often renewed on a seasonal or short-term basis, creates, in my mind, a volatile and uncertain environment for workers.
British drug traffickers are not faced by fines and prison terms if caught, says the lawyers. Some lawyers are of the view that the fines and the sentences that are being handed down to foreign nationals caught smuggling cocaine are not serving as a deterrent, as the number of offenders is constantly increasing. On Wednesday, yet another British national, Glenn Mason, who was caught trying to smuggle cocaine out of Jamaica via the Sangster International Airport in Montego Bay, St. James, was fined $200,000 or 3 months in prison. In October, the Jamaica Constabulary Force released the data indicating that 27 foreigners, mostly British nationals, were arrested between January and September this year for breaches of the Dangerous Drugs Act. Attorney Law Wayne Phillips, who practices out of Western Jamaica, told the news that repeated publications about foreigners being arrested in Jamaica on drug-related charges have not deterred individuals who are willing to take that risk because they believe they will not be caught. I do not think that the fines and the sentences that are handed down are effective to deter these persons from doing that sort of thing, because we keep seeing foreign nationals coming back before the court for these types of matters, said Phillips. I am sure they hear about these other foreigners, whether in the United Kingdom or the United States of America, because naturally these stories run in the news, and most of the time you see these stories online, so it is not like they do not hear about it, yet it is not deterring them from doing it, said Phillips. It doesn't matter whether they get just fines or fines and prison sentences or just the prison sentences, because in the long run, I do not see them being a deterrent. Most of the persons that I encounter believe or have the mentality that they will not get caught, or if they are caught, most of them rarely ever accept the responsibility, and the persons are still doing it and will continue to do it. Fellow attorney Shelley Hyman admitted that for some persons who engage in drug trafficking, the perceived financial reward for success outweighs the fear of punishment if they are caught. Even though deterrence is one of the primary considerations during sentencing, there are other factors that must operate on the mind of the judge that determine the sentence within the prescribed range. Remember that foreigners and natives are sentenced using the same guidelines in drug-related offenses, said Hyman. Also, statistics will show that harsher penalties do not necessarily mean that fewer persons will take the risk. when the possibility of reward seemingly outweighs the risk, then even a harsh sentence will not be a deterrent. Mason was reportedly caught with 1.5 pounds of cocaine, which was found in 2 pairs of slippers that he had in his possession on September 30 while preparing to board a flight to London from the Montego Bay airport. During the sentencing hearing, presiding judge Natisha Fairclough Hilton ordered Mason to pay a fine of $200,000 or spend 3 months in prison for possession of cocaine, $250,000 or 3 months for dealing in cocaine, and $300,000 or 4 months for attempting to export cocaine. In a news article published on August 18, King's Counsel Peter Champagny suggested that provision should be made for foreign defendants who plead guilty or who are tried and found guilty of drug offenses to pay larger fines instead of serving mandatory prison terms because keeping them in custody locally is not sustainable. Neighbors brawl over yard work. A woman was brought before the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court on Thursday after her neighbor accused her of assault following a dispute over landscapers cutting their yards. Senior Parish Judge Sanchia Burrell noted that the complainant was wearing a neck brace and her face was swollen. "Is the accused did the complainant's neck like that?" she asked. The lawyer for the accused attempted to downplay the incident. "They were doing preparations for the Yuletide season. And there goes a misunderstanding," the attorney stated. The prosecutor, however, painted a different picture, saying the accused hired 2 workers to cut her own yard, but also gave them permission to cut that of the complainant without first consulting her. The complainant heard the sounds and came out, asking who gave the permission. The workers responded that it was the accused, and that where it all started, the prosecutor detailed. It was then reported that the complainant went to the home of the accused, cursing and allegedly pointed her finger in the face of her mother. This action, the prosecutor argued, prompted the accused to take matters into her own hands, leading to the altercation. The lawyer for the accused presented additional information defending her actions by stating that the gardener had been instructed to work on public space outside her property. The accused had in fact instructed the gardener because she is responsible for the beautification of the community. They were not on the complainant's premises, to my understanding. It was in fact the sidewalk outside of the premises that she was cutting, and it is public space, the lawyer pointed out. The lawyer for the complainant, however, highlighted that she was new to the community and unaware of the rules surrounding the yard work and the timing of the beautification efforts. They were cutting about 9 a.m. and I go to my bed about 7 a.m. every morning, the complainant explained. Burrell acknowledged that the real issue at hand was the noise rather than the cutting of the grass. "It's quite unfortunate that things escalated to the criminal court," she said. The case was referred for mediation and the complainant was fully compensated with a restitution payment of $100,000. Guys, thanks for watching. Please join us this afternoon at 2 p.m. for another news update.